Hey there, guys, gals, and everyone in between. This is Jonathan Steelflex. Before we start the video, I just wanted to say thank you to the 65 viewers we had last episode. If you don't mind hitting a like and subscribe, that would be super awesome. I'd really appreciate it. But anyways, let's get to the video. Hello and welcome. This is Jonathan Steelflex here, host of Star Wars with Steelflex, Episode 2, and today's topic, who could die in the Ahsoka series? I have a list of all the characters that we know are going to be in Ahsoka, and I'm going to go through and make predictions on if I think they're going to make it out alive, or if they might die in the show. Is it morbid? Yes. But who cares? Let's have fun. Now, I was unsure if I wanted to do this episode, mainly on the reason that this is just somewhat a big speculatory episode, and, speculation can lead to, arguments and anger and whatnot. However, it's always fun. It's always fun to just ask around, see what other people are thinking, build the conversation of Star Wars. The WGA strikes and everything going on right now. It's a very weird place for Star Wars. I'm hoping that we hear some good news coming out of both the writer strike and the actor strike. Because if that doesn't end anytime soon, we might be in a pickle, and we might not be getting any Star Wars anytime soon. So, I guess the main reason of me talking about this all is I want to enjoy Ahsoka. I'm not going to let people online ruin it for me. There's a lot of people that, spoke poorly on The Last Jedi and Book of Boba Fett, and, if they have their reasons, that's fine, and I understand. But some people just had reasons that were, childish and just trying to find something to complain about. But we're not going to do that here. Today, we are just having a fun time. We're just going through person to person and thinking if they're gonna die or not. That's kind of, not fun. But, it's whatever. So I'm going to go person by person. And, so let's get started. So let's go ahead and get started with Ahsoka. I think it's pretty obvious. She's going to survive. I don't see them in any way, shape, or form getting rid of their main character. It would be a big move. However, knowing that the movie will be coming out that takes place between episodes 6 and 7, and with Dave Filoni on it, I don't see there being a way Ahsoka's going down in this show. I could see her getting close, obviously, as every show we have does. With their main character, Mando, Boba Fett, they always go down. They always find a way through. However, I think that the end of the show might be very dark in a way, with everything leading forward to episode 7, the Rise of the First Order and everything. Sorry, that was my paper. With the Rise of the First Order, I think that the ending of the show could be the kickstart to all the bad things that start happening within the galaxy. But again, we had to wait because there are so many different things that are going to happen between now and then. I believe there's, 20 years in between? Because it's, let's see, I want to say around 30 to 40 ABY. I'm making a fool of myself right now. Don't worry about it. Anyways, yeah, I think Ahsoka's going to be around for a bit longer. So we're going to go ahead and jump on ahead to Sabine. I don't think this is a tough one. I shouldn't say that. Sabine's making it out of this. I don't think that over I don't want to say over Ahsoka, because it would be crazy to kill off Ahsoka, wouldn't it? I think Sabine is going to be a very crucial part of the journey in Ahsoka. I don't think she's going to die. I really think that she's going to take a big part of the storyline. Being the apprentice of Ahsoka, or whatever role she's going to be taking up. I think that that's going to be a much more. It's going to give her a lot more reason to stay alive, especially with the hunt for Ezra. I think that because you never really see an apprentice die in a show, especially with this Rebels gang. It'll be really sad. It's kind of like watching a kid die, which would be, horrible. So yeah, I don't think they're going to be doing anything like that, anything crazy. So let's go ahead and jump on to the next one, which, of course, after saying that about a child, there obviously has to be a parent figure. Not a parent, obviously, but a parent figure. We have Hera Syndulla. This is going to be a big one. I think that if anyone in the show, I think Hera could be one of the people that potentially dies. And hear me out. I know that's crazy, but think about it. Every beginning of a story, or every hero's journey we have, there's always some type of master or some kind of mentor role. And they're trying to help out, and they're trying to do good against evil, and then they always make a sacrifice. Obvious idea, we have Obi-Wan Kenobi in Episode 4, A New Hope. He brings Luke into this unknown world, and to help Luke escape on the Millennium Falcon, he gives his life and becomes one with the Force. Hera's a fighter. Hera's going to be out on the front lines. She's going to be flying around helping out, because she knows what's going on. She knows that Thrawn's rising. I think she's going to try and help Ahsoka. I just don't know if the New Republic is going to help give Hera what she needs to then fight Thrawn. And I feel like she's going to pull a Kanan. And I think she's going to sacrifice herself in some way to save her family. Whether that be her actual family with potentially Jason Syndulla, if he shows up. Nothing's confirmed, of course. There were potential leaks and whatnot in the past, but I'm not looking at those. I'm just waiting for the show, of course. I think that Hera could possibly sacrifice herself for the good of a mission or something of the sort. It's sad to think. Do I think she will die? No. But is it likely? Yeah. Which is so sad. Hera, in my opinion, Hera is such a great character. She gives and gives and gives. And she's just going to keep on giving. In my last episode, I talked about how Ahsoka was a giver, trying to find her place in the world. But Hera, I want to say, kind of has a place. Hera has a family. After Rebels ended, she was with Jason. The rebellion won against the Empire, and she made it. But we see in these trailers, something seems awry, and it's kind of a big deal, obviously. So it's going to be interesting. I really hope she doesn't, because I can see many storylines coming out of the Mandoverse, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka show, all this, to go into the movie. We don't know how long it's going to be until that movie even comes out. But I feel like this show might have a major blow. And I think it could be Hera, which, if that's the case, we need to buckle in, because that's going to be crazy. Yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next one after that really emotional one. We have Ezra. I think Ezra's gonna make it. I'm just gonna be straight up. I think he's gonna. I think the show is gonna take. It's either gonna be the plot of the whole story, find Ezra, or it's gonna be like in Mandalorian season 3, everyone thinks that they're going to find that Mando needs to go to Mandalore, bathe in the waters, and be a new Mandalorian, whatever. And just do it in like an episode or two. I think instead, we might get that with Ezra, and we might find him very early. As a young Jedi, I mean, he's getting older, obviously, but relatively young in this situation. I think that it would be in the best interest to keep him alive. I mean, he could, depending on how he performs in the show, the actor, I'm not familiar with the actor or their name. I think Ezra is going to play a vital part as well, with Sabine being two young, not Jedi, obviously. Ezra's a Jedi. Sabine, ? We'll say apprentices of the Force? I'm not sure, but I think Ezra's going to survive. It just makes sense. I feel like Ezra could potentially become, in a way, because he has fought so much with the rebellion, I think he might take the mantle from Ahsoka of being no. This is a tough one. I don't think he's going to do what Ahsoka does and walks the way of not the Jedi, but not the Sith. There's no such thing as a great Jedi. I'm probably going to lose. I'm going to lose people there, but canon-wise, there's no great Jedi yet. Or ever, but we'll find out eventually. I'm sure they might make a reference, whatever. I hope I didn't upset anyone. If I did, I'm so sorry. But moving on. No, he's very light side oriented, and I think it's gonna help because Sabine's very moody, very angsty, in Rebels we saw that she was very upset whenever she was having to train with the Darksaber. She was struggling, she couldn't do it, she just gave it away. This isn't the case anymore. This isn't the Darksaber. The Darksaber is a different story than a lightsaber. So it's gonna be a weird one, but I think those two coming together is gonna be what helps Sabine in the long run learn what Ahsoka most likely was trying to teach her somewhere in the past. And we know that they worked together at some point. Of course, because in the trailer, Sabine calls Ahsoka Master. Oh, okay, that's fun. That's a lot. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next person. I threw in, not rumored, because at this point, I don't want to call it Rebels Season 5 and make a joke of it, but a lot of Rebels characters are coming back, and this person was spotted in Mandalorian Season 3. Ladies, gentlemen, everyone in between, we have Zeb. I love Zeb. The live action version of him, I literally jumped up off my couch. It was crazy. He looked amazing in the scene at the bar. And I really hope that he has a big part in this. I'm worried because he's going to be the CGI, that he might have a limited role, which if that's the case, that's fine. But I think he's going to stay alive. Just because he's in that limited role, I feel weird that unless he does become vital, like on screen a lot, which will be, I don't know if it would be difficult or not. I know they've probably put a lot of time and money into this show. However, I think they're going to keep Zeb alive. It'd be really hard to kill him off, I feel. I feel like he's somewhat of a Chewbacca. I could see him making a grand sacrifice because he's not a major character in the lineup of Rebels, if that makes sense, which is horrible to say, I know. But I think he will be alive after the show ends and the credits roll. If he's even there. Because again, not confirmed, but why not bring him in, So let's go ahead and move on to another not confirmed character. What? I know, crazy. I think it would be a good idea, and I know a lot of people don't think so. I think that Callus should come back, and unfortunately, I think if he were to do that, he would die. He was, of course, a member of the ISB. For those of you that didn't watch Rebels, basically an ISB agent works with the Empire and is kind of top security information people that also can do like very well in combat oriented situations. Watch the show, you'll understand it a lot better than what I just described. But Callus was an ISB agent, and then he turned to join the rebellion, really the Ghost Crew. Turned good guy, got these really dope mutton chops. Handsome man, I'll say it. Animation or not, don't care. But that's ridiculous. But I feel like he would show up as like a big, oh my gosh, that's Callus, and everyone's gonna be like, oh, that's crazy. But I just fear that something bad might happen. There's been no word at all, I've heard at least, on if he's gonna even be in the show, who would be playing him, anything like that. So if anything, I hope that him and Zeb, like I just mentioned as the last person, I hope maybe they come up together like they ended on the finale of Rebels, and I hope they come together and they have a moment of, hey, it's us, and then I just don't want him to die. It's sad, but the list. We got to make the list and we got to move on. Sorry, Callus, if you are in the show. I hope to see you, but, I hope you don't die. Let's go back down the list. We're going back to a confirmed character now. We have Chopper. I'll be straight up. I think Chopper is going to 100% make it through this show. Every Star Wars show, you need the spunky droid that's riding around one of the protagonists, either being sassy or being helpful in some way, and Chopper's that guy. Or droid, I should say. Sorry, no gender. But no, I think Chopper is going to make it. I really hope we see some physical comedy with Chopper, because if you saw Rebels, you see R2-D2 giving some sass to Anakin and everyone he's around and Luke and everything. But Chopper in Rebels was an absolute nightmare. I could see stormtroopers going up to Chopper and Chopper possibly, I don't want to say cutting off a hand, but crazier things have happened. So I think Chopper's going to make it through. So that brings us to our next character in the list, Mon Mothma. So, to my understanding, Mon Mothma, this show takes place after the book Aftermath, which is the book, or a book, in the current canon Star Wars timeline that talks about how Mon Mothma and Leia talk about the future of the rebellion and how they're going to plan on bringing, either potentially increasing or decreasing the rebellion's fighting force, troops, the size of that and whatnot. And I believe that Mon Mothma, like I said in the last episode, if you listened, Mon Mothma might be seen as a bad guy here. Not a bad guy like they're terrible, because obviously we know what Mon Mothma's for. However, I do think that there's going to be certain aspects of Mon Mothma's character in this show that might not be in the interest of the Ghost Crew. However, I do not see any. Oh, and the reason I bring up the timeline is because up to this point, because the book takes place here, we know that in this point in time she's still alive, and checking her Wikipedia page, of course, we see that there's no death date. So we know that she's going to be, for all we know, alive after this. However, we don't know if she would die during the show, but I don't think she will. I think she might have a lot more of a role right after the show, if that makes sense. I feel like this show is going to be Thrawn and his emergence. At the end of the show, I think it's going to show him and how he has a true grasp and a true reign on the new Imperial remnant that's growing. I think Mon Mothma is going to be like, oh crap, we could have stopped this, and now it's getting out of hand. And I think it's going to be a big situation. But again, I don't think she's going to die just because she's kind of just chilling wherever she is in her hologram. Probably back on Chandrila or wherever. So, yeah. So let's go ahead and let's move on to the next character we have in the list, which is Huyang. I hate to say this. Huyang, for those of you that don't know, before I continue, is a character from the Clone Wars show. And Huyang helped a bunch of students of the Force, younglings, if you will, creating their lightsabers. Whenever they went and collected the crystals, he would help them create their lightsaber, the parts, and the techniques on how to actually assemble it. And he did this for at least 1,000 years. I can't recall the exact time. He helped Yoda create his lightsaber. If you go back to the original episode that we meet Huyang, I believe that's where this is mentioned. So, we have a droid that is around 1,000 or so years old, could be longer. Timeline is weird. I think because of the amount of attention they're putting on Huyang's going to be helping Ahsoka a lot during the show. And Huyang is also very much familiar with the Force, and that doesn't mean he can use it. He's just aware since he was around, the Jedi and everything like that. So he's going to have an understanding of what's going on and with lightsabers and everything. I think that the Imperial group, whichever, the Remnant or Thrawn or whoever comes in, I think that there is potential to try and use Huyang, capture him, and take all that he knows about the Force. Because Thrawn, as we all know, is a tactical mastermind. Thrawn gets frustrated whenever he doesn't understand what he's working with. Because he wants to be like 3 steps ahead of everything. But he has to understand it, and he's quick to learn. However, it's going to be difficult for him to face Ahsoka because he still doesn't understand the Force, as we found out in Rebels. So, I think they're going to try and take Huyang at some point and see if they could possibly get any information from him. But will he die? This is my 50-50 of the episode. I get one 50-50 because I don't know. If he dies, it's going to be a very sad moment. History is being lost, losing this droid. But at the same time, I think he could survive. I don't know if he's going to be taking place in any combat or anything like that. He's talking to Ahsoka about starting a new order, or starting new, whatever that's supposed to mean, whether it is an order or not. We will find out. The other option is, if he doesn't die, I think it would be probably in the best interest of the showrunners to possibly utilize this character and put him in the Skeleton Crew show, which is, of course, if you aren't familiar, Skeleton Crew is a show that's going to be coming out potentially the end of this year, most likely next year. And it's going to be a bunch of, from what I understand, I haven't seen any of the leaked trailers or anything. It's going to be a bunch of kids, and they're lost in space, and they are needing help to be guided through space. I'm not sure. Again, there's very little given, and I don't want to look at any leaked trailers. I'd rather just see the official, because things can change from then until now. But I think that some of the kids are Force sensitive, which could be a perfect tie-in with Huyang. And if that's the case, that could work. But if not, then you know what? It's fine. Again, these are all predictions for fun. So cool. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the dark side. Dun dun dun. So let's go ahead and start with Shin Hati. I still am not sure how to say that. I haven't heard any pronunciations. I've been trying to stay away from the teaser trailers, the tiny little like minute trailers they have on YouTube. So if they said it, I apologize. I really think that Shin will make it out of. I think Shin will definitely make it out of this alive. Like I said with Sabine earlier, she's the apprentice. We don't know how old these people are. We don't know from what era they could be from. I still am of the possible belief it's a slight chance, but you know what? It's whatever. We see those orange lightsabers. We don't see many orange lightsabers, especially of that build and of their outfits that they're wearing and the lightsaber style. It looks a bit older. I'm still thinking that they could be part of the world between worlds, potentially defenders of the realm kind of thing. Just defending the realm or the world between worlds. I'm calling it a realm, whatever. I think they could be from the past, moving up, protecting the world between worlds, and they are coming out now and potentially trying to either stop people from messing with it, or, as we've seen in some of the trailers, helping the High Magistrate. And I think that in doing so, it's going to bring bring hazards to them, of course, because they're helping with the dark side. As we can tell, very moody, very broody, evil intentions, it looks like. So, with that being said, I think Shin Hati will survive. I really find it hard to believe that they would kill off an apprentice, especially whenever they have the master that is he's taking a major role in most of these trailers. So I'm pretty sure he's going to have a pretty decent role in this, and I think Shin's role will be somehow to avenge the master. And with that being said, that brings us to the master, Balon Skull. I think that Balon Skull in the Ahsoka series is going to die. Now, I know that Ray Stevenson, I believe that's his name, passed away a few months ago, and this has no reflection on that whatsoever, in any negative way or anything like that. Just strictly on the character. I believe that he's, we know he's, from what we've heard, a master of some sort. They're mercenaries, him and Shin. So they have their own thing going on. And obviously they've worked together in some capacity. And I think that there's going to be, because we know very little about these people, I think that it's most likely going to be him, because, lightsabers, what are they going to go against? Lightsabers. I think Ahsoka might have to duel with him. Could be Ezra, could be Sabine, could be Shin. But in this situation, seeing how the show is going, I really think that Balon is going to die in some way. Again, could be wrong. And I know they really can't change anything since the show's been essentially locked in, hard set for August 23 release, and it would be hard to change anything that major, that drastic, due to the actor's unfortunate passing. But it's a real, we'll have to wait and see. Again, unfortunate. If he does make it, that would make things interesting, assuming he doesn't, travel away, or he's like, thank you for helping us do whatever. We'll be gone now, and they leave. Or if he does stay with this group, it's going to be a weird, how are they going to work it? But I really don't foresee him making it out. He's the older Jedi. He's the master, or not Jedi, sorry. He's the older master. And I think his character will come to an end. So we're going to go ahead and move on. We brought up earlier, talking about the two mercenaries, the High Magistrate, which I believe it's confirmed now, because since last episode I talked about it. The character High Magistrate, their name is Morgan Elsbeth in the show. I thought, because I kept seeing the name come up in the past, but I kept thinking that was the actor's name, so I never thought anything of it. I don't believe we've ever had a Morgan in a Star Wars show, so it threw me off whenever I first saw it. So the High Magistrate, I think she's going to die as well. From what we see in the trailers, it looks like she's trying to help Thrawn. Or that's my understanding, at least. You may have a different one, but from my understanding, it seems like she's trying to find Thrawn, help Thrawn, something to do with Thrawn. But again, we don't really know. But we know in Mandalorian Season 2, she battled Ahsoka, and Ahsoka said, "Where is Thrawn?" Meaning that Morgan, or the High Magistrate, had to know about Thrawn in some capacity. So if that's the case, and they're trying to find him, track him down, I think that it may come to a situation where they bump into each other again, the High Magistrate and Ahsoka. I think this time, Ahsoka, knowing Thrawn is like imminent, might go for the kill. Or tries to make her surrender, come find the New Republic, but has this information, as we saw they were looking at star maps or whatever maps in the trailer. In the battle that they had on, I can't remember the planet, but in Mandalorian where they battled, it looked like a samurai film, and it was really intense, and it was really cool. I think this could potentially be one of our first, and I can't recall, and I don't want to misterm this in case I'm incorrect. And I don't mean this to be, I don't believe this is an offensive term, but if so, I apologize. A seppuku, I hope? That sounded really ridiculous, but protecting one's honor rather than being captured, a samurai would, how do I put this, end their life by their own hands rather than be captured. And I could definitely see that happening. Dave Filoni talked about that battle and how he has been influenced in certain films that he's seen in the past, and how he bases it off of, or how he bases some of the characters off of that, the combat styles. And seeing as how their battle in Mando Season 2 occurred, I think that it would be, it could be thought of that could happen. I don't know if I could see her going down without some kind of inflicted injury on her. I don't think she's going to come quietly. But I definitely don't think she's going to make it out of the show alive. So that brings us to our penultimate character for the episode, the possible Inquisitor. Are they an Inquisitor? Are they not? They have the red lightsaber. It has the circle, the fighter pilot helicopter. You know what I'm talking about. It spins. We saw in the trailer this character a few times. We don't know much about them. there's a rumored name going around. The name is Merrick. Again, people are saying they think that it could be a whole bunch of people. It could be a whole new character. I think I'll start off by saying this. I think that the Inquisitor character in the show is going to die. A lot of people are thinking that this character could be Bear Safi. I've seen some people think that for some reason this might be Starkiller from The Force Unleashed, which I think is a bit ridiculous, but to each their own. I think that this character might have some connection to Ahsoka because Inquisitors, their main time period was around the fall of the Republic. So between episodes 3 and 4, that's where most of the Inquisitors were, as we see from Rebels and the Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor games, from the Obi-Wan Kenobi TV show or streaming show. That's where most of the Inquisitors were. Now we have an Inquisitor pop up. I think it's safe to say that this character might be aware of who Ahsoka is. Kind of like in the the mini series that Disney Plus put out, and it was highlighting Tales of the Jedi with Ahsoka, and there's the Inquisitor talking about saying, "Oh, I know you," and essentially got kind of got murked by Ahsoka. So I feel like there are many people that are aware of Ahsoka's existence. However, none of them are able to take her out. And I think that this might be this will be the same situation. Do I think it's Barriss? I don't necessarily think so. Would it make sense? Yes. Assuming she hasn't died since she was taken away in Clone Wars after setting up a bombing on the Jedi Temple. But that could be a big part of why she would be fighting Ahsoka, because Ahsoka was going to be turned in, and now it's Barriss. So this could be the return of Barriss. I don't necessarily think that's the case. But what I am sure of, this character is going to be unalive at the end of the show. Finally, the last character. Thank you if you stayed this long. Please make sure to hit the like button if you don't care. Hit the subscribe if you don't mind. Sorry for saying it like that. But the last character we have on the list is Thrawn. I think... You know what? No. I will say this with my chest. In the Ahsoka TV series, Thrawn is going to be dead. No, I joke. Thrawn's making it out alive. There's no way they're killing him off this early. They have movies, a movie, I should say, being planned to come out. They have TV shows. There have been so many name drops. There is absolutely no way, and I will put money on this. If anyone comes back to this and he dies at the end of Ahsoka, I will give you $100. There's absolutely no way Thrawn is dying at the end of this, and staying dead. I kind of think Cad Bane might not be dead at the end of Book of Boba Fett. So I'm saying this now. Thrawn will not be dying. Again, too early, too big of a character to lose. At the end of this series, if anything, it's just the beginning. And yeah, Thrawn's gonna make it. That's horrifying to think about, but it's gonna happen, and we're just gonna have to watch and see how it happens. So yeah, that was my list. And now I guess we're going to the outro. So here we go. Alright, well that's going to do it for us today on this episode of Star Wars with Steelflex. If you enjoyed the episode, I forgot to say this last time, so let me go ahead and make sure to say it this time. Wherever you're watching it, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Music, or on YouTube, if you don't mind following, hitting subscribe, liking, leaving a review. I don't care if it's a good review, bad review. Any criticism would be good. Is my mic quality good? That's something I'm really worried about. Is the pacing of the show good? Do I need to not say 9,000 times? Any criticism or feedback or anything like that would be super appreciated. So again, thank you so much for watching. I'm really excited for the Ahsoka show. Hopefully we'll be able to talk about it in the future. I'm hoping to shoot for, well, maybe not 66 due to, the order and everything like that. So maybe 67 views on this episode would be super dope. Hoping for a like or two. That'd be super awesome, and I'd appreciate it very much. But yeah, I think this is the end of the episode. I need to go and go live my life. I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna go downstairs after this. So yeah, but again, thank you so much for watching. I need an outro. I need a cool outro. We'll figure it out in the long run. But thank you so much, guys, gals, and everyone in between for watching. This has been Jonathan Steelflex with Star Wars with Steelflex. Have a good day.